Forgot where my seatbelt was there for a second. Hey everybody, how are you doing? Welcome back to another episode of TFC in the car. Whether you're in the car or not, I'm so glad that you're with us again this week. This is just a video for us to spend some time together. Whether you're in the car or doing something else, I hope that you're not bored. I hope that this is something that can help you feel good, be entertained, teach you something. And so that's what we're doing, TFC in the car. My name is Pastor Harrison. I'm the pastor of Emerging Generations at the Faith Community in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. And so that's what I do, is I'm a pastor there for children and for youth. And I'm so glad that you've chosen to spend some time with us today. One of the first things that we always do is we take our hands just like this. We wiggle our fingers, put them right here on your belly. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose and out through your mouth. All right. So this is the third episode, right? This is our third episode of TFC in the car. The first one, we read a book. Last week, you gave yourself a hug and you reminded yourself that you are the stuff of dreams. And there are people here, wherever your here is, people who love and support you. And this week, I want to teach you something because I want us to think about questions. I want us to think about questions. And you may remember that there are like 5 question words, right? 5 question words. There are who, what, when, where, and why. And there's how too, but that one doesn't start with a W. And so we'll leave that one to the side for right now. But we got who, what, when, where, and why. Who, what, when, where, why. Can you say that? Can you say who, what, when, where, and why? All right. Who, what, when, where, why. Who, what, when, where, why. And 4 of these questions, who, what, when, and where, they can be pretty easy to answer, right? You can answer them kind of with one word sometimes. Who, you, me, them. What, that, this, it, when, then, right? Where, there, here. All of those questions, who, what, when, where, they can answer them with just a word sometimes. Sometimes you need a few more words to kind of clarify, to make things a little bit more clear, but you can answer them quickly. Who, what, when, where, you, that, then, there. Who, what, when, where, you, that, then, there. But that leaves this last question, right? Do you remember what this question was? Who, what, when, where, why? Why? This last question is why. And you might have asked that question before, right? I think we've all asked the question, why? Why? Why does this happen? Why did that happen? Why is this going to happen? Why does it look like this? Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why does the sun shine during the day and the moon at night? All these questions of why. And who, what, when, and where can be answered quickly with a word sometimes, but why needs a little bit more to it, right? Why, sometimes if you ask why, especially if you ask it a bunch of times, you might get the answer of because, right? Why? Because. But because doesn't really answer the question. It just because is kind of like I don't know why. Why does it happen? Because it just does. I don't know why. It just happens. But if we want to spend more time with these why questions, the way that we can spend more time with them is through stories. Stories try to answer why questions. All the kinds of stories that we tell, the stories that you tell before you go to bed or when you first wake up, the stories that you read in books or watch on TV or in a movie, the stories that you tell together with your friends or that your family tells you. There are stories are ways to answer the question of why. And people have been doing this forever and ever and ever and ever. People would ask questions about why does the sun shine? Why is there a moon? Why are we all here? Why is there the earth with oceans and land? And there's this story, and it's in the Bible. The story in the Bible, in the very, very beginning of the Bible is split into 2 big parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. And the Old Testament is split into all these little parts, 39 little parts called books. There's little books in the big book of the Bible, but all of these little books in the Old Testament, and the first one of those 39 books is called Genesis. Genesis, it starts with a G, Genesis. And in Genesis 1:1, that means the very first chapter, the very first verse, Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And the rest of that chapter is all about how God created. how God created the sun and the moon and the stars and the land with the flowers and the trees and the fruits and the vegetables and all the animals that live on land and all the animals that swim in the water and the animals that fly. And it's a poem. Do you ever read poetry? Poetry is not something I spend a lot of time with, but when I do, I enjoy poetry. And poetry is another way that we talk about why. Why? Why are we here? Well, we have this poem to tell us why we're here. Because God created it this way. And in this poem, there's 7 days, right? Like 7 days in a week. And humans are created at the very end. So it's this question of why are we here? Why are we here? Because this is where creation has led to. We are here because God created all of this, and we're here as a part of this creation. But at the end of it, we're the part that connects with God in a different way. Right? It's this question of why. And so we have this story, we have this poem, and the Bible is full of these stories and these poems that are talking about why. And it's not just the Bible that has these questions of why, right? Like I said, we tell these stories in our family sometimes. If you ask a question of why to someone in your family, a mom or dad or aunt and uncle or a grandparent, they might tell you a story to try to help you understand why. When I was a kid, I remembered I lived in Florida, and in Florida, it thunderstorms all the time. Thunderstorms all the time, and we used to ask, why is that noise so loud? Why is that thunder so loud? And I remember somebody telling me one time, it's because the angels are bowling. The angels are bowling, and so when you hear the loud thunder, it's like somebody getting a strike up in heaven. And that's not what thunder is, right? That's not what thunder is. Thunder is something that happens with science up in the clouds with lightning, and I don't understand it still, but I was asking why, and so they told me a story. And the story didn't tell me the science of exactly what happened, but it told me something that was comforting, something that was helpful. It told me something to not be scared of the thunder, because it was just a game. And while there's not a game being played when thunder happens, I don't need to be scared of it like I was when I was a kid. And so they told me that it was just angels bowling. And so when I would hear that thunder, instead of being scared because it was this loud sound that I didn't know what it was, I would just think, oh, bowling. I like bowling. Bowling's fun. That's what stories can do for us. Sometimes they don't tell us exactly the who, the what, the when, the where, but they help us with a why by giving us a place to rest, by giving us peace, by helping us to find a place where we're not scared, to connect us together, so that later on, when we're ready for the who, the what, the when, and the where, we're ready to hear it, because we're not as scared as we might have been before, because we have a story. I really like stories, and I really like that they help us with whys, and I think that stories are really valuable, and they help us to connect together and talk with each other and share ideas and values. I hope you like stories too. But we are getting way beyond what we have just for today in TFC in the car, because your car ride might be almost over. It might be a short drive for you today. I don't want to keep you in the car if you're already where you're supposed to be going. And if you're not in the car and you're at home, I don't want to keep you from doing whatever else you're supposed to be doing today. So the last thing that we always do when we have TFC in the car, put our hands just like this. Wiggle your fingers. Put them right here on your belly. Deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose. Out through your mouth. All right. Let's say our affirmation together, okay? It goes like this. God made me on purpose. There are people here who love and support me. Today I will be my authentic self. Include someone and disrupt what hurts others, just as Jesus showed me. Okay, thank you, everyone. Don't forget, whoever's in the front seat, you can find us YouTube, Facebook, website for download. Don't forget to join our Facebook group, Emerging Generations on Facebook, so you can continue the conversation with us through the week. We will see you next week with new videos come out each Wednesday through the rest of the summer. So we hope to see you next week, all right? Be safe.